welcome to my first proper video that isn't me just slapping speed paint over a screen and calling it a day. But really, it's nice to meet you. My name is Felix and this is my first ever proper video. This is my first time making a video with my voice, so I'm sorry if I sound weird. But today I'm going to be showing off my Artfight attacks from this year so far. And for every attack I show the process of, I'll show the character reference I used and also the name of the character and creators on Artfight. I'll also be putting their links in the bio for you to check out. One of the characters shown is something I drew without realizing the creator wasn't actually participating this year, so I haven't been able to actually submit that attack for Artfight this year. So I'll just show it here instead. I'll put text and say which character it is when they show up. But now that I've said all that I needed to, let's actually start showing the characters. Alright, to start us off, I'll start with my most recent attack, and one of my favourites, to be entirely honest. This character's name is Wally. They were created by the user SillyArtist64 on Artfight. I actually had a lot of fun drawing Wally, especially adding and messing around with the filters I added on at the end. In the end, this guy took me about an hour to draw in total. When drawing this character, I sort of struggled to draw their face because of the blurry filter they used on the reference for the character. But in the end, I did get it to look okay, but I don't know if it's entirely accurate to the reference, But the creator of the character did end up liking it, so I'm guessing I was close enough. This character was my most recent character I've drawn so far for Artfight, being my 14th character. I'm planning on making it up to at least 20 attacks this year. My original aim was 30, I think? I can't remember entirely, but I think that was me aiming a bit too high. Now to our next character. Our next character's name is Felix. They were created by the user OutofOpossum on Artfight. I had a lot of fun drawing the posing for this character. It was super fun to figure it out as I went. I was originally planning on making this character just a headshot or a bust shot, but I ended up liking it that much that I did extend it to a full body. I think you can see that in the speed paint. I also love the color scheme they used for this character. It definitely fits their design. It definitely took me the most time to figure out how to draw the chest due to the specific shape it has, but I got there in the end. I also struggled a bit with the arm on the left, especially the hand. The hand was hard to figure out with the, pixely look it has, with keeping it looking like an actual posable hand. I don't think I did make it look normal, if you get what I mean, like posable, but I do like how it looks in the end. And now that I think of it, I actually forgot to add the tail of the character until the bitter end of the colouring. I forgot to add it in the sketch, and I forgot to add it in the line art when I did that. I think you can see it in the speed paint. I added it pretty close to the end of the colouring of the character. This attack took me about a total of an hour and 30 odd minutes, so a bit more than my most recent attack. Definitely worth the effort. I love how it turned out. It's definitely happened to be one of my top favourites for this year so far. This attack was also one of my first attacks, being my second to be drawn this year. Now to the next character. This character's name is Wukong. They are actually a redesign of a pre-existing character called Sun Wukong from the show Lego Monkey Kid. This redesign was created by the user AzulsCrown-art on Artfight. The thing I loved doing the most for this character definitely had to be the hair. I did struggle a bit with drawing the lighter stripes in the hair, to make them go with the flow and direction of it. But I did end up liking the way it looked in the end, so it was definitely worth it. This character took me a total of 46 minutes to complete, so they are the one that took the shortest amount of time so far out of the characters I've shown. They were also the 7th character I drew for Artfight this year. For the next character, the character's name is Sage. They are made by my friend on Artfight called SagetheKat. They're also here on YouTube. I'll link their YouTube down below. I had a lot of fun drawing this character. He was really fun to draw, especially with the fur patterns and eyes. At the beginning I was actually planning on making them a full body, but when I got to trying to line out what the full body would look like in the line art, I don't know why, but my brain decided to forget what a full body looks like, so I decided to just trim the canvas to be a headshot. So I just continued with a headshot and finished it like that. Sage took me about 39 minutes to finish, and they were also my first character to draw this year. Now to the character I talked about at the beginning of the video. This is the character I drew for a person on Artfight, and kind of only realized that they weren't actually participating this year when I finished drawing it. This character's name is Rusty. They were created by the user GhostBones on Artfight. I actually had a lot of fun drawing this character, even though I didn't end up getting to submit it in the end. For this character, I decided to go a tiny bit out of my comfort zone and just completely skip the sketching process. I also used the lasso pen tool to just go straight in with colors, and then used the pen tool to put in things like the eyes and nose and all that. Well, for the nose, I'm pretty sure I used the lasso tool, but that doesn't really matter. I also loved drawing the fur patterns for this character. This character took about 15 minutes to finish, so being pretty quick compared to some of the other characters I've drawn so far. This character ended up being the 4th character I drew for Artfight this year. And now to the next character. This character's name is Later. They were created by the Artfight user ActuallyRea, or Rhea. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but I'm hoping either one of them are correct. I actually figured out about their character later through their YouTube. They've been making videos about Artfight for a while now. So if you want to figure out stuff about Artfight, I'd suggest checking out their YouTube channel under the same username. This character was also pretty fun to draw as well. I loved drawing in the hair and the eyes the most, especially with all the different colors and the shading and everything. I did struggle a little bit with drawing the folds of the character's clothes, but this character ended up taking me a total of 43 minutes, and they were the 8th character I drew this year. Next up is the character Beelzebub. They were created by the user on Artfight called gothic-damien. I did struggle a bit drawing this character. There were issues where my iPad wouldn't charge, or it would charge for only a short amount of time and then power off while I was drawing this character, so it does look really rushed because it kind of was. I was trying to rush to get it done before my iPad died again, and then I had to charge it and then try drawing again. So it is sort of messy, so I'm sorry for the drop in quality all of a sudden. Though there were a lot of issues when drawing this character, I definitely love the design and how it turned out, even though it was very rushed. I love the wings and everything about it. This attack took a total of 43 minutes minus the time I spent trying to charge my iPad in between. It also ended up being the 3rd attack I finished this year for Artfight. Now, before we go on to the last 2 attacks I've done this year, there will be a really steep drop in quality of the drawings. At that time when I was drawing them, I did have a spout of art block, so they will look a bit messy. Anyways, on to the next character. This character's name is Downtown. They're a part of a little group of little creatures named the Denizens. Downtown was created by the user on Artfight, mittenmeat. Even though I did spend such little time on this character, I definitely loved drawing them. I loved giving them the texture I did with the pen I used. It definitely fitted their chaotic personality, and I also loved drawing the teeth for some reason. This little chaotic ball of nature took me about 17 minutes to finish. Definitely a lot longer than the time that I spent on the next character, and this character was also my 11th character to finish for Artfight this year. Now for the last character, this character's name is Cyan, or you can call them Assistant Cyan. They were created by the user PhoenixMasked on Artfight, and they're also on YouTube under the same name. Cyan was super fun to draw, even though I took such little time on drawing them. I definitely loved drawing the glowy effect I did. It was really simple, but it made it look a lot better than it did before. And like I said a couple seconds ago, they were pretty quick to draw, taking about 7 minutes to finish. They were also my 12th character to finish, so being pretty recent. Okay, and now that I'm finished showing off every character I drew this year, I will now be showing a list of the different characters' names I drew and the creators and any social media they have if you want to check them out. And here's a list of the different references I used to draw each character and what I drew right next to them. And now that we're at the end of the video, I'd love to show appreciation to all of you that have watched through to the end, and I hope all of you have an amazing day and an amazing rest of your Artfight if you're participating this year. Bye bye!